If you've bought a Hori Hori knife before and had the handle come loose, the blade go dull in a week, or the sheath fall apart in a season, you already know this category is full of near misses. I tested and researched real listings to find 6 that are actually worth your money. Let's start with the one you should probably skip. Number 6 is the black iron Hori Hori garden knife. This one comes with a 7-inch Japanese stainless steel blade, plus a leather sheath and a sharpening stone included in the box, which is a nice bundle for the price point. Independent hands-on testing from Bob Vila's review team found that this knife dug well and worked nicely as a stand-in for a trowel or transplanter, and leverage wasn't an issue when they were actually using it in the dirt. Here's where it loses points, though. The same testers noted the handle was a bit chunkier and not as refined as several other knives they tested side by side, and critically, this knife doesn't have a handguard between the blade and the handle. On a tool you're regularly gripping close to a sharp edge while jamming it into compacted soil, that's not a small omission. It's the exact spot where your hand can slip forward onto the blade if the tool catches on a root. The testers were upfront that it was one of the less expensive models in their lineup, and that shows in the finishing touches. If you want the accessory bundle this knife includes, but you're willing to accept a rougher grip and no hand protection, it'll get the job done. Just handle it with more caution than the rest of this list. Number 5 is the HOKURU Hori Hori knife, and it fixes the exact problem the last entry had. This one ships with a 7-inch double-edged stainless steel blade, a full-tang construction held together with 3 metal rivets, a leather sheath for storage, and a sharpening stone to keep the edge maintained. Plus, unlike black iron, it actually includes a protective handguard between the blade and handle to stop your hand from sliding forward. HOKURU backs it with a 2-year warranty, which is a real commitment from the manufacturer rather than just a marketing line. The catch here is that this is a mass-produced budget import, and while the spec sheet checks every box you'd want on paper, there isn't a large, well-documented body of independent long-term testing on this specific model, the way there is for some of the more established names later on this list. That doesn't mean it's bad. The included accessories alone make it a genuinely strong value package. But you're trusting the listing more than a track record. If you want the safety feature the black iron skipped, plus a sharpening stone and leather sheath in the same box, this is a sensible step up without a big jump in price. Now, quick heads up before we keep going. The knife at the very top of this list isn't the most powerful or the most feature-packed. It's the one built by the country that invented this entire tool category, and it's earned that spot through decades of not falling apart. We'll get there. Number 4 is the WORKPRO Hori Hori garden knife. WORKPRO's listing gives you a 7-inch stainless steel blade with a serrated edge on one side for cutting through roots and wood, and a straight sharp edge on the other for slicing through smaller stems, rope, and twine. The newer version of this listing also adds a weeding fork built into the tip, which is a feature you don't see on most of the traditional single-point blades on this list. It comes with inch and millimeter markings for measuring planting depth, an ergonomic TRP rubber handle designed for a non-slip grip, and an Oxford cloth sheath with a belt loop so you can carry it clipped on while you work. The honest limitation is that WORKPRO doesn't make a Hori Hori knife as its core identity. It's a general tool and hardware brand that also happens to sell this, unlike the specialist gardening brands further up this list. That's not automatically a deal breaker, but it does mean you're buying a competent generalist tool rather than something a brand has spent years refining specifically for gardeners. The Oxford sheath is also fabric rather than leather or hard plastic, so it won't hold up to rough outdoor use quite as long. For someone who wants a functional, fairly equipped Hori Hori, without spending much and doesn't mind a fabric sheath, this covers the basics competently. Number 3 is the Fiskars Hori Hori garden tool. Fiskars lists this at $22.97 with a corrosion-resistant stainless steel blade, a serrated edge for sawing through thick growth, a straight precision ground edge for cleaner cuts, and a forked tip specifically designed to help with weeding. It includes a hard plastic sheath with a belt loop and a hanging hole for storage, an ergonomic soft grip handle, and, genuinely valuable for a tool you'll use for years, a full lifetime warranty from a well-known brand that actually honors it. This listing carries roughly 4.6 to 4.7 stars across nearly 3,000 customer reviews, which is one of the largest and most consistent review bases on this entire list. The honest drawback, pointed out by a longtime landscaping tool reviewer at Garden Tool Review who used this as his crew's standard knife for years, is that dandelion-style forked tip. In lawns and turf specifically, the fork tends to catch in the grass and won't push down cleanly, which means you end up using more force than you would with a simple pointed blade, the exact opposite of what a forked tip is supposed to help with. If most of your digging happens in garden beds rather than turf, that complaint mostly doesn't apply to you, and this remains one of the more reliably well-reviewed, backed by warranty picks on the list. Number 2 is the PERWIN Hori Hori garden knife, and this is the value pick I'd point a first-time buyer toward. It has a 7-inch stainless steel blade, a full-tang walnut wood handle for real durability, a fitted sheath, and a hanging hole for storage, along with a twine-cutting notch at the base that doubles as a bottle opener. According to a recent retail sales write-up, this specific listing has sold well enough to become one of the top-selling products in Amazon's entire manual weeder category, with a review base cited in the thousands. Normal pricing on this listing runs around $36, though it frequently goes on sale closer to $20, so it's genuinely worth checking the live price before you buy, rather than assuming it's always discounted. The trade-off compared to the true premium picks at the top of this list is that PERWIN, like WORKPRO, is a broader multi-tool brand rather than a specialist gardening company that spent generations refining one design. So while the wood and steel here feel solid in hand, you're paying for strong value engineering rather than heritage craftsmanship. For most home gardeners who just want a knife that holds up and doesn't cost a fortune, that trade is an easy one to make. Number 1, the strongest overall pick on this list, is the Nisaku NJP651. And if you only trust one name in this entire category, trust the one that comes from the country that actually invented the Hori Hori knife. Nisaku is manufactured by Tomita Cutlery, a Japanese company established in 1960, and the NJP651 is their hardened HRC 58 edition, built from authentic Japanese stainless steel with a 7.25-inch blade and a traditional wood handle. What separates the 651 from Nisaku's more basic NJP650 model is the sheath. According to Nisaku's own product answers on Amazon, the 651 ships with a premium genuine leather sheath, while the standard 650 comes with a synthetic pleather version. The knife itself is identical between the two, so you're paying the difference specifically for real leather. That base NJP650 listing, for reference, has historically carried close to a 4.9-star rating across thousands of customer ratings, which speaks to how consistently this core design has performed for gardeners over the years, though pricing on Nisaku's listings can fluctuate and occasionally dips into and out of stock, so it's worth confirming current availability before you commit. There's no flashy pommel, no forked tip, no bottle opener gimmick here. Just a simple, traditional, extremely well-made blade from the brand that's been refining this exact design the longest. If you want the one Hori Hori knife least likely to disappoint you 5 years from now, this is it. So here's how I'd sort this by what you actually need. If you want the single most trusted, traditional pick backed by decades of Japanese manufacturing, go with the Nisaku NJP651. If raw steel quality and hardness matter most to you, the Tonma TGK2 has the best documented blade spec on this entire list. If you want the best value for a first Hori Hori knife without overpaying, the PERWIN is the easy recommendation. And if you're mixing gardening with camping or bushcraft, the Barebones Ultimate does double duty better than anything else here. Whatever you land on, don't buy on spec sheet alone. Check that the listing actually includes the handguard, sheath, and warranty terms described here before you check out. If this helped you avoid buying the wrong garden knife, subscribe for more real, spec-checked buying guides like this one, and drop a comment telling me which of these 6 you're actually considering. I read every single one.